Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. This is JE Live. Following a Rams loss to the Packers, another game that they had no business losing. They outplayed the other team, and they're just finding ways to lose games now, evidently. So we're going to get into it. Really frustrated about this game. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It just... To watch this team just consistently be able to move the ball downfield and outgain every team they play, and it's becoming really annoying. It just really frustrating stuff. So, look, I'll be honest with you. I think right now I am not in any sort of because I think it would just be. What's the word I'm looking for? Irresponsible. I'm not in any position to make any guarantees or claims or anything like that. I felt really good about today's game, but I also had them winning 24-23, so it's not like I had them blowing them out. But I'll tell you right now, there is nothing that I'm going to say that guarantees they're going to get out of this hole. Nothing. If you came here hoping that I would guarantee you the Rams are going to turn the season around after going 1-4, it's not happening. What is happening is this. The reality is that they're a 1-4 football team with some opportunities. Unlike most 1-4 football teams, the Rams are actually talented. So, you look at the Panthers and the Rams, and the Panthers got blown out today, and the Rams are dealing with injuries, and they were in this game. They should have won the game. They should have won last week. We keep talking about shouldas. Well, they don't turn into wins now, do they? So that's the encouraging thing in a trash heap of just negativity, right? I know everybody's going to be frustrated about this game. I'm very frustrated about this game. It's a joke. It really is that they continue to lose these games. You have a football coach that's been in 2 Super Bowls and he's won one. And for whatever reason, they just keep losing these games. And it just, I don't understand why. The defense isn't getting completely gashed either. This game, I understand the defense was frustrating. I get that. But aside from a couple explosive plays the Packers had, I thought the defense did a great job. I did. Down the stretch, they got the stop you wanted 2 weeks in a row where the defense steps up at the end of the game and the offense fails. That's what happened. They failed. So we can continue to blame the defense all you want, but when you hold Jordan Love, who threw 4 touchdowns last week, they scored, guys, the Packers scored 22 points in the fourth quarter last week. The Rams held them to 24 for the entire game. This isn't a defense sucks thing, although the linebackers are a problem. But down the stretch, the Rams defense played very well, okay? They played very well. They got the stop. They held Green Bay to 0 points in the fourth quarter. How long did they have the football? A long time. But they did not get 1 point in the fourth quarter. They gave the Rams a shot. The Rams had a shot to win this game. The offense had a shot, and the offense has been great. This year, they move down the field at will. The problem is when they get to the red zone, that's when problems emerge. That's a problem. You have to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone. If you're appearing there the second most in the league, but you're 28th in the league in actually scoring when you get there, well, guess what? That's going to result in you being 1-4 instead of 4-1, which they should be. That's just the reality of it. So I see people in the comment section saying I'm a homer, but I don't understand. What did I say that would make me a homer? I don't think I said anything that would. Anyway, whatever. Look, okay? Frustrating game, frustrating season. They went for it on 4th down to start the game. Didn't work out. Then they miss. They don't go for. They go for the 2-point conversion. They miss it I'm not going to sit here and complain. They did exactly what I probably would have done on 2-point conversion. The only difference is I would have run an end around on the other side, but I would have tried it. I would have. I'll say this. This Rams team can absolutely get out of this hole. They can. Not they will, but they can do it. I feel confident that they can do it. And you know why I feel confident they can do it? Because last year they were 3-6. Okay. After that, honestly, after the Cowboys game, it felt bleak. People kept telling me your 10-7 record prediction looks ridiculous. They're not beating Green Bay. You're right. But the thing I find funny is that during that time, I said something I truly believed in. I believed they were going to turn it around. I'm not saying that now because I don't think there's anything to show that. But there's one thing that helped the Rams turn it around. Kyron Williams came back. Matthew Stafford played after the bye week. They had a bye week after the Packers game that they lost, that they probably could have won, and then they ripped off 7 of the last 8. Stop me if you've heard that before. Bye week after the Packers loss. Interesting. I'm not saying it'll happen again. I'm not. But it can. People acting like this season's over. Did you watch the second half of the season, or did you just gamecast all those games and you just took it for granted? Like, I watched every single one of those games, every single snap, 3 times over. It was brutal. They lost to the Steelers. That game, that pisses me off still to this day. They lost to the Steelers. The Bears lost last week. I thought it was the Steelers lost. But, guys, when the Rams had to turn it on, when it was really their back against the wall, we're not talking about, it's not good to start 1-4. No. We're talking about they're going to get eliminated from the playoffs if they don't win. And they won 7 of their last 8. And that right there is why I feel like they can do it. If that team went 4-8 down the stretch, I wouldn't feel that way. But I've seen them do it. It's a similar team to last year. The season's not over. It's frustrating. And you know what I can't stand? This idea, because no one comes back from 0-4 or 1-4 and goes to the playoffs. Now it's like it's set in stone. Oh no, we started 1-4. That means that we're automatically not allowed to make the playoffs. The football gods have already put down a force field, so we can't even get the result that we're trying to get. It doesn't work that way. We see it all the time. The Jaguars were 3-7, went to the playoffs, and actually won a game in which their quarterback threw 4 picks. Just when you think you understand the league, you don't. That's the reality of it. Nothing is dead. Nothing is certain. So look, I don't feel great about this. In my opinion, this was a must win. But at the same time, I will say that going into the bye week, this is the time to go to the bye week. This is the time to go to the bye week. They're going to get some guys back. I don't know who it'll be. They'll get some guys back for week 7. They'll be playing a Raiders team that is going to not even know who their quarterback is. They benched Gardner Minshew today. Benched him. They got blown out by the Bo Nix-led Broncos. Blown out. So that's the first thing. As soon as you get off the bye, you have to win that game. You can't go 1-5. So 2-4, then that Vikings game becomes very tricky. Here's what today did. Today made the Vikings game a must win. Today made the Seahawks game a must win. I told you guys, I don't think Seattle's that good. I don't. They hadn't played anybody worth a damn. They lost today to the Giants at home. And this is where I go into this point. we're not talking about how weak the NFC West is right now. We're just not. It's not being talked about enough. 49ers are 2-3. The Cardinals can only beat the NFC West. They're 2-3. The Seahawks, after starting 3-0, have lost 2 straight and are 3-2. That's another hidden thing here. You think it's over. You do. But the Rams are still in it. And they're very much still in it because, mathematically they're alive. But in addition to that, look at this division. They have the tiebreaker over the 49ers. The Cardinals can't be anyone outside of the division. Seattle, the Rams notoriously do well against Seattle. And by the way, McDaniel, their new, or McDonald, not McDaniel. McDonald, their defensive coordinator for the Ravens last year, who is now their head coach. What did I say at the beginning of the year? He gave Brock Purdy fits last year with the Ravens. He gave Jared Goff fits. He gave Geno Smith fits. Do you know who he didn't give fits to? The Rams. The Rams scored like heck against the Ravens on the road. Matthew Stafford looked fantastic. Puka Nacua had tons of yards in that game. So, McDonald, that same defense, I watched the Rams. They were the only ones that could run the ball against the Ravens last year. They're the only ones that could throw all over the Ravens defense. So I don't really look at the Seahawks like that's a roadblock. If the Rams truly, if they can get back Cooper Kupp, what they're doing, they're in every game, down to the wire. The Cardinal game, that's an anomaly. They're not even that good. That was just a bad day. But you look at the next 5 games for the Rams, and there's no reason this team can't win 4 of the next 5. At least. The Raiders, the Vikings is the one that's going to be the tough one. If they win that on Thursday night, we'll see. But Seattle, they can beat Seattle. Miami, are you serious? New England? So the next 5 games are against the Raiders, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, and the Patriots, and you have people on to throw in the towel. Come on. I agree with that, Coach Ray. Beating the Vikings is wishful thinking. So guess what? They still have 4 other teams that they can beat. It's not over. And especially it's not over because no one in the NFC West is running away with it. See, this is another thing. Okay, today's game against Green Bay, do you realize how much Green Bay needed that win? You don't understand. Right now, Green Bay, if you look at the standings, you look at their division, Green Bay is 3-2, and they're tied for 3rd place and last place. The Vikings are 5-0. Detroit is 3-1. The Bears are 3-2. If Green Bay lost this game, that would not have been good for them. Not at all. They'd be 1-3 in the conference. Guess what? The Bears are 2-0, the Lions are 3-1, and the Vikings are 3-0 in conference games. That's a tiebreaker. So the Packers needed this win. Needed it. The Rams are actually in a decent position here. But do you know what's kind of weird? The Rams might have to win the division to get to the playoffs because of how tight this wild card race is going to be. But because of the Rams division, they are actually in this. Despite going 1-4, this division has kept the door wide open. That's why when people say, oh yeah, I don't want the Cardinals to win because they have the tiebreaker, you have the 49ers win, it's like, yeah, they can just, they win it and like we have the tiebreaker. No. The results that you needed to have happen for the other 3 teams in the NFC West happened today. That was the best case scenario for the Rams, period. And seriously. So do I think they're going to turn this thing around? Absolutely. Am I saying that they're going to? Absolutely not. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm not making any declarations if they're doing anything. I'm just telling you that they can. And it's very possible because they have the talent to do it. They get healthier. They come off a bye, and we'll see. They're blessed with a game against the Raiders. If they lose that game to the Raiders, I give you guys permission to give up on the team. If they lose off a bye against the Raiders, fine, give up on the team. 1-5 would be brutal. You can't lose that game. You cannot lose that game. But I'm just telling you guys, this thing ain't over. If it looks bleak, but at the same time, if you look at the immediate schedule, the next 5 games, there's only one team that I feel like is really going to be a tough game, and that's the Vikings game. That Vikings game is going to be very tough. But I'll tell you right now, if the Rams beat the Vikings and they beat the Raiders, they're looking at 3-4 there. And they're 3-4 going into Seattle, where they've had success. If they beat Seattle, that's 4-4. They beat Miami 5-4. New England 6-4. And all of a sudden, you've completely turned your season around. Now, is it fair to assume they're going to win 5 games in a row after going 1-4? No, I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. Realistically, though, let's just say for a second, this Rams team gets healthier. We're not going to see Puka Nacua until that Seattle game, in my opinion. Maybe Miami, but I'm going to say Seattle. But if this team gets healthier, right, they get a Cooper Kupp back. They get one of Avila and Jackson. And I think they're going to be without, I think they'll be without JJ until probably later on in the season, I'll say. So I'm not going to say him. But if they get, say, those 3 guys back, they come off the bye, they're rested, all of that, I think realistically, if we're trying to be realistic based on what I've seen this year, with those additions, they beat the Raiders. I think they lose to the Vikings. I think they beat Seattle. I think they beat Miami. And I think they beat New England. I really do. They go 4-1. That puts them at 5-5. 6-4 would be nice, but 5-5, you're in the game. You got Philly, you got New Orleans, you got Buffalo, San Francisco, New York, Arizona, Seattle. Not going to be easy, but if you can get to 5-5, you have a chance. And they can beat them all. They absolutely can. They won 7 of the last 8 last year when they had to, when their back was against the wall. And you know what's a good sign? You might not have noticed it because it didn't make that much of a difference today for the result because they lost. But the fact that they're playing Ahkello Witherspoon, Darius Williams is healthy, they found something in Jalen McCullough, they found something potentially in Wallace. They're evaluating. It shows they're evaluating. We saw more Blake Corum today. We're starting to see Whittington and Atwell take over as the top receivers. They're changing things up, which is all I asked for. I wanted to see them move, change some things up. So, yeah, I think there's some good things to take away from today, as frustrating as it was. But 1-4 is a big hole. And while they have an opportunity, it's easier said than it is done. Deb, I'm not sure when Higbee comes back. He is eligible to be back, but we haven't heard anything on him. He needs to come back. They need him. They need him. I wish Parkinson was, I don't know. That was really disappointing. He's got to win. He's got to win. That one-on-one, he has to win that. Yeah, I'm not liking Reader and Rosemoon at linebacker. That's also the hope. The bye week, they'll change it up. We'll see what ends up happening, but I didn't miss super chats. I'm going to get to them. So, all right. So anyway, we got, my comment section's going crazy right now. What the hell? All right. We'll do super chats right after a word from our sponsor of today's live stream, Prize Picks. So thank you to Prize Picks, of course, for sponsoring today's stream. You guys can use my code JKBogan. Download the app today if you haven't already, Prize Picks, and you sign up, put together a $5 lineup. It's that simple. Win or lose, doesn't matter. You're going to get $50 added directly to your account. So be sure to check that out. Link is in the description below. JK Bogan on Prize Picks will get you $50 directly into your account when you play a $5 lineup, and it doesn't matter if you win or lose. So, guys, I'm going to get to super chats right after this. I just want to say, I think there's a lot of people that want to be doom and gloom, and I get that. It's almost like a defense mechanism, almost like a trauma mechanism, anti-trauma. But I'll never be doom and gloom on this channel, because how I view things, and this is very similar, and I told you guys this about Aaron Donald, okay? How I view things is, okay, this happened, now what? People are asking me, why don't you talk about Ernest Jones enough? Why don't you talk about, because he's not a Ram. It's over. That trade was already made. I didn't like it. I was vocal about it. I told you that. It's over. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just keep bringing up stuff. Aaron Donald, when he retired, why aren't you still talking about Aaron? That's a huge loss. Why don't you care like at all? I care, but I'm like next man up. I'm ready. Like, move on. That's where I'm at. Well, when it comes to this 1-4 start, my thing is, okay, is that I'm not going to sit here and just say they suck, they're trash. Nope. Because no one would subscribe to a channel like that. No one would listen to anybody seriously who talks like that. So I get all the time, Jake, why don't you just call these bums out? Why would I do that? Why would I ever call any of these players bums? Like, how does that sound professionally? It doesn't sound professional at all. They're 1-4. How do they fix that? What happens next week during the bye? What are we going to talk about? What happens week 7? I'm way more interested in that than saying mock draft season's over. Miss me with the mock draft season. Good God. Your team is the Rams, okay? It's not the Browns. It's not the Jaguars. It's not the Panthers. This is a team that's been to 2 Super Bowls since 2018. And they've won a Super Bowl fairly recently. I'm not going to sit here and just give up on the team after week 5. That I will not do. But I'm just saying that as far as it goes, the way I see things, instead of me just telling you what you saw and trying to be negative, I'm going to give you things that I liked. I'm going to give you my concerns. But that's just the way it is. That's JE Live. It always has been. It's very straightforward. Anyway, Ruiz, thank you so much for the 2. A mobile quarterback has us at 4-1 instead of 1-4. Milrow praying. I guess, but I guess I mean, I don't think this is a Stafford issue that they're 1-4. I think there's a lot of different variables, but appreciate the super chat, man. SoCal, having Akello and D Will made no difference. Shula needs to go. Thank you so much for the 5. It made a huge difference. Having Akello and D Will out there allowed them to blitz. Did you notice? They were way more confident and comfortable sending safeties, and they were getting pressure through it. They haven't blitzed because they were using, for the most part, they were scheming around Trey White's inefficiencies. I said this for 2 weeks, and this is why. It's not just what you see at cornerback, okay? It's not just the yards that make a difference. When you take a guy off the field who is clearly struggling as a liability, now you get, okay, Kello has great communication skills. It's one reason why they really like him. And D Will is one of the best corners in the league, whatever, right? When you have those guys out there, now instead of having to bracket guys and try to keep Trey White like from getting exposed, now you can use those guys because you trust Akello in one-on-one. You trust Darius in one-on-one. Now I can send a safety and blitz a little bit. This is how you can do that. So they did make a difference. It's just, I think quite often, fans in general will look at corners and just assume that they suck when they give up a big catch. And that's just not the case. There's a lot of things that are going on that's not being talked about throughout a play. And there's stuff that we'll never know. We'll never know what the actual design was, what it was supposed to be, yada, yada. But that's neither here nor there. What I will say is Tucker Kraft had 88 yards. That's not Akello, and that is not D. Will's guy, right? 88 yards, 66 of them came on one play. Jaden Reed had 78 yards, 53 of them came on one play. That was a mixture of Kello, and that was a mixture of Lake, and there was somebody else out there. One of those, the wires got crossed. I'm not excusing it, but wasn't the best play. However, people focus so much on that explosive play the whole time on Twitter. I saw it. They focus so much on that, they don't talk about the fact that after those guys, the next leading receiver, Josh Jacobs, had 21 yards. They held Dontavion Wicks to 20 yards. This team had 224 yards through the air. That's a good day. That's the thing. You held Jordan Love after throwing 4 touchdowns, and how many yards he had last week? You held him to 224 yards. I had no issue with the way the secondary played today. None. Yeah, he had 389 last week. 4 touchdowns. 3 picks, 4 touchdowns. So, yeah. I think he could have played that ball better. I do. But I also think it's one of those things he might not have seen it that well. It was way up in the air. But anyway, Man of Paradox, thank you so much for the 10. Coach McVay should know that the pocket is a dangerous place for Stafford to be in for more than 2 seconds when the situation is critical. That last sack, the last sack was devastating. Rams should have won this game. Absolutely, they should have won the game. And Stafford has to hold on to the football because, you don't want to throw a pick. They definitely got in his ear about that. I think there were times he took a sack, maybe trying too hard not to throw an interception. Then he threw one, but, Matthew, thank you so much for the 20, man. Okay, guys, trust me, after being a Rams fan for 47 years, through Linehan, Spags, and Fisher, McVay is the best thing that happened in this team. I trust they will figure it out. Thanks, Jake. Absolutely, man. I trust they're going to figure it out, too. But are they going to figure it out this year? I'm going to let them do the talking. They came from St. Louis after being from LA and before that being in Cleveland. Well, Missouri is called the Show Me State. And if you don't know why it's called that, because it sounds kind of stupid if you don't understand, it's called the Show Me State because it's show me, don't tell me. And that's where I'm at with the Rams. People think I'm caping the Rams or whatever. Oh, you're just whatever, right? I had one person say, how much are the Rams paying you? The Rams have never given me anything. They have not given me so much as a, something through the mail, right? I've never gotten anything from the Rams organization. So I don't know why people think I'm shilling the Rams organization. I have no reason to shill the Rams organization. I do like, though, when I'm right. Clearly I'm right. And their initial thing is wrong, and then they go to what I was saying all along. I do like that. I am going to talk my shit in that regard. But I also don't really care because I'm just glad that it's happening, right? I don't need credit for it. But last year, what's the thing I said about the quarterback? Said, oh, Stetson Bennett, he's not going to play the rest of the year. Brett Rippon's not good enough. They need to go out and get Carson Wentz. Said it in week 1. They went out and got Carson Wentz after it became a problem and Brett Rippon had to start a game. The guy that I wanted before the season. What did I say in the offseason? Oh, Trey White signing. That's nice, but that should be in addition to Ahkello Witherspoon. They need Ahkello Witherspoon back. And now here we are, week 5, and Ahkello Witherspoon is starting, and Trey White is a healthy scratch. So I know some things. It's cool. But yeah, not for a second will I ever shill an organization. You guys should see the Yankee content that I do with Gary. I do not pull any punches on the Yankees. I don't. And if the Rams played 162 games, I wouldn't pull any punches on the Rams. And I don't really feel like I do pull punches on the Rams. Like, I don't think I pull punches on the Rams. Well, Albert, I'm a Yankee fan, so it's more so calling out the organization. Do you know why I call out the Yankees and not the Rams? Because I'll say this right now. The one thing that the Yankees do that the Rams don't, the Yankees will play the player that they paid even when he sucks, even when he's struggling, even when nothing is going his way, right? Even when he's become a liability and is costing teams games. Right? That's what the Yankees do. I've seen it. But the Rams, they took a player who they're paying more money than the players that played today, except for D-Will. They took Trey White, who's getting paid to be a starter, and they benched him. They didn't just bench him, they made him a healthy scratch. Period. That's one thing I like about the Rams organization. They do make changes. Now it's time for Roseboom and Reader to be made. They need to make that change. After the bye, I need to see that. So there. That's not me shilling the organization. Jay, thank you so much for the 2. I haven't given up yet, Jake. Next 5 are winnable. I absolutely agree. Next 5 are winnable. The Vikings game is tough. The Vikings, got to give them a lot of credit. Only Vikings fans thought they'd be good. Darnold looks good. They just keep winning. Gene, thank you for the 2. Got to stay in the fight. We're only 2 games out. Exactly. HAV, thank you so much for the 5. I'm convinced McVay likes to play from the trail. We'll see, guys. Niners choke, so that's interesting. Yeah, it is weird. And yeah, the Niners did choke. That was interesting. They had that game in the bag, and all of a sudden, I don't know. DHP, thank you for the 5. I'm done. Atwell, he needs some McGuire Sosa vitamin S. He is too weak to break holds from DRs and easy rerouted from routes. I disagree. I think Atwell does a really nice job rerouting. I think that's something he's really good at. I think if people are going to hold Atwell's hospital ball against him, there's nothing I could really say. He got absolutely just blasted in the head. So, I don't know. But thank you for the donation, man. Julian, thank you for the 5. I really appreciate you being optimistic. Hope we can change it around after the bye. Also, go Sun Devils. Oh, yeah. A team. Julian, you just had to throw go Sun Devils. Good Lord, man. Yeah, we're not talking about Kansas football because, I have no words. I hate college football. I can't stress it enough. I despise college football. The only thing that I like about college football is the draft. That's it. So when the players are leaving college football, that's what I like. Craig, thank you so much for the 5. Just too many self-inflicted wounds to overcome. Clearly the effort is there, just bad execution. You said it best. I agree. The effort's there, poor execution. Game management is a little questionable, although I thought they did a good job managing the game today. They should have won. They should have won, without a doubt. Oh my God, I just can't believe what I've seen. If you had told me before the season the Rams would start 1-4, I would have assumed Stafford got hurt week 1. I would have assumed Stafford got hurt week 1 because I would have probably just chalked it up to the Lions targeting him and knocking him out of the game. But I don't know. Frustrating stuff, guys. Wicked frustrating stuff. Bobby, thank you so much for the 2. Appreciate you. Yeah, so now it's interesting, right? You're 1-4. What do you do? How do you approach things? I mean, I think I understand people want to hear different things. Some people prefer the optimist view. Some people prefer me to be negative. They would call it realist, but it's me being negative. I think there's a little bit of both to be had in this game. Negative because, let's be negative for a sec, right? Here's why I'm concerned about the Rams. They can be the best team in the league at getting into the red zone because they almost are, but they can't score when they get there. The play calling is very predictable, unimaginative when it gets to the red area, when it gets to 3rd and short, 4th and short. Makes you wonder why they didn't just run the football. But in addition to that, I can also continue to be negative. Like, why do they have 2 linebackers that are not very good starting? Why did Trey White start the first 4 games? Like, I can... There are a lot of different things I could say. But what good does that do? If now I'm reaching. Like, if I'm all of a sudden like, why is Neville Gallimore out there? All right, congrats. Totally reached. I'm really bummed about Parkinson. I'm really bummed about Colby Parkinson. I've been a fan of his, but yeah, he just really, really frustrating. You know? Yeah, we're going to bring on some guests here, do the call-ins, and then we're going to call it. I don't really have anything else to say, folks. I mean, I'm going to bring on people to do the call-ins, but I would just be essentially making up stuff just to say something. Steve, Jake, do you know when we are getting our lines back? Avila, No Boom, etc. I don't. I would imagine you're getting one of them after the bye at least. Maybe 2. Matthew, thank you so much for the 5. For the people calling players bums, where are all the ones calling Darnold garbage a couple years ago? Just saying. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this thing started. Oh, man. We got Okay. We have a decent amount of people. Not a ton. We're going to do 2 minutes. And yeah. So if you want to call in, I'll give you the floor for 2 minutes. Deuce Falco, thank you for the 10. Every NFC West team should have been 2-3 today. Rams need to lock in. I agree. Seahawks are 3-2 though, so that wouldn't have been possible. But I get what you're saying. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. It might be a wrap. I can't stress enough when I say, like, when I'm being, say people say I'm being positive or I'm being optimistic or whatever, right? I'm really not saying they're coming back. I'm just letting you know it's possible. And whether you knew that already or not, I think it's different. Like the way I portray it, like, okay, they're not just coming back. Like they can, and this is why. The combination of the NFC West being not as good, the combination of the fact the next 5 games, 4 of them are winnable, really winnable, and the team is getting reinforcements back. They'll be healthy again. If you get Cooper Kupp, who's expected to be back for week 7, I feel really good about that game. I'm not going to say there's no way they lose because I said that against the Cardinals and they lost 41-10. But yeah. Eldwin, I can't be delusional. That's the problem with your comment. It's wrong because I'm not delusional. Delusional would be me saying they're going to win all 5 games. They're going to the Super Bowl. Okay? No. I'm telling you it's possible. I'm explaining why it's possible. I am not guaranteeing that it's going to happen. That's the difference. If I was delusional, it'd be me saying this is going to happen and you just don't see it. No, because guess what? I could do that for anything. I could say something I don't believe in just for shock value on my show and leave it at that. But what you see is what you get on JE Live. I'm never going to say things I don't believe in. I'm just not going to do it. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. It's that simple. Would you want to listen to somebody who says a bunch of bullshit that they don't actually believe in? Hell no. The reason why people are like, yeah, Jake, I rock with you, because you believe what I'm saying. I believe in what I'm saying. I believe they have a shot. I do. Now, saying I believe they have a shot, and yes, Coach Ray, 13 more games, does not mean that I believe they're going to turn this thing around. They can. And I do think they'll turn it around, but I think turning it around, what is turning it around? What does that even mean? Like, what would turning around be for you? Is it keeping the season competitive? Like, what is turning around? I think at that point, we have to know. Because to me, turning it around is getting to the playoffs. But to you, you might look at it as turning it around as starting to just winning games again. They only have 1 win. But yeah, they absolutely have a shot. Anyone that doesn't think so is actually delusional. That's the delusion. That's the irony. The person that believes that they have a shot still with 13 games left and in a bad division and a healthy dose of, realistic wins on their plate, that's not the delusional one. The delusional one is the one that says this season's over. Well, you haven't seen 13. You haven't seen the next 13 games. Or 12 games, whatever. Absolutely, they got a chance. 100% they have a chance. But we're going to find out. Stafford's not washed up. Again, 12 games. I know. Actually, when I said 13 and I saw that you said 12, notice I corrected it to 12. You don't have to correct me after I already watched you correct me. Now that we've got that cleared up and I said 12, I don't need, again, 12 games. I'm aware. There's 12 more games. That's exactly, to your point, Coach Ray earlier, when there's 12 games left. It's not like there's 1, there's not 2, there's 12. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and act like the season's over. Anyway, let's get to the call-ins. If we can get it going. Oh, boy. Technology, man, just hates me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Discord right now. Oh, we might have something. A Rams misery cast? That's hilarious. I don't even know what that is, but... Hey, you too, David. All right, let's... Okay. Get my timer ready. Okay, let's see if this works. What on earth? Okay. HAV, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you, but you're not in the show. So how do we change that? Let's see. Call in Discord. Okay. Talk for me. Okay, you are in the show. Cool. All right.
All right, cool.
What's up? How you doing?
You know, I mean, not great, but I've had enough time to kind of cool down. Stream's brought to you by Prize Picks. Use code JKBogan to get your first $25. Jake, I made $130 off this game, even though, you know, I wish I could give it all back to make a win for the Rams, but...
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm with you on that, because I just... oh, boy. Jordan Whittington's arm is in a sling.
He popped... Oh, wait, Jake, by the way, I just added you. I put Jordan Whittington over 69.5, and I hit.
Oh, I saw that. Nice.
I know, dude. Okay, let's get into the game. The game... This team is good, and that's what kills me. It's like, I was watching it with Falco the whole time, and like, we got to the point where we were down 11 points. It's like, all right, if they get a first down, it's over. Okay. We kind of shut down. We assume we're going to lose. And then, of course, they're going to come back, get our hopes up, and then break our hearts. And it really looked like we were going to have it there. And there was a couple calls throughout the game. We look back at it, ticky-tacky. You're like, yeah, we could have had this. We could have had that. But it's just something about it where it's like, you know this team can win the game, but we didn't do it. And that's like the most like brutal part is like there's so much talent here and they can't put it all together. And it just kind of tears at you little by little. And I don't think the season's over. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, it's all over, you know, Shula's terrible, the team's terrible, everything's over. But at the same time, I'm not going to, you know, I can't. It's like you play this game with yourself and you're talking about defensive like pessimism. Like, I kind of go through that throughout the game where I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess we suck this year. It's okay, 2022 again. But then at the same time, they start to come back, and you're like, maybe not. Maybe it's 2023. So it's like it's just painful to like watch this back and forth with our team. I don't know.
It is.
What do you have to add to that?
Well, I think you're right. It is painful. I think the thing that makes this so painful, the thing that makes this so frustrating, is that we know they're capable of it because this team isn't that much different than last year. And last year they won 10 games. So
exactly
to see that, and typically speaking, if you want to look for the teams that are going to emerge and pop out and be really good teams, go and look at the teams that finished the year strong the previous year. Those teams are normally your best bets to go into next year and have some momentum. That's just the way it works. There's a long, running set of data that supports that. For whatever reason, the Rams haven't been able to do it. And the injuries have been a problem, yes. But the thing that's been so frustrating for me is that despite the injuries, they've had every opportunity to win these games. And I think it's once again, I think they've lost 3 of their 4 games against teams that they were better than on the day that they played them. And I think they're better than. I think the Rams are better than the Lions. I think the Rams are better than the Packers and the Bears. But they lost. So, you know how the way...
They outplayed the Packers.
Oh, they outplayed the Lions. They outplayed the Bears. They do this. It's frustrating.
Better than the Cardinals, but did not play them. But it's just those 3, the Lions, the Bears, the Packers. You sit there and you're just like, these teams are we're drastically better than we put on TV, and that's the hardest part. And you see our momentum getting shut down by it used to be last week was worse with penalties. This week we did way better with penalties, but just overall, just finishing, like we just can't finish for some reason. It just drags, and it's so painful.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. What are your final thoughts? I didn't even realize the timer went off.
Final thoughts. Season's never over. I think the first time I called him was the Steelers game, and I wasn't very optimistic. And then after going from that game to a 10-7 finish, like I knew the team had talent. I just didn't know if we were going to pull it off. It's like the season really is never over. And when we get Puka, Cooper, Steve back, we don't know what's going to happen. And you never know with McVay. And like I said, I put in the chat, like he likes to play from the trail. It just kind of feels like, for some reason, it's like you said earlier, it's like when our back's against the wall, that's when they like to turn it up. So I don't know. It could just be a dud and we can have 2022 again. But there's always that little hope. Whenever you have McVay and Stafford, you never know what's going to happen. So I kind of have that little inch of hope, and that's what makes every game so painful.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Yep. But I appreciate you calling in, man. And
sure, man. I
have no idea what we're doing for the bye week. Maybe we'll just not do a live stream, but maybe we will. Cool. So maybe I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Sounds good, man.
All right, later, man.
All right, later, dude. Peace.
Okay. Coach Ray, how's it going? You're muted as of right now. And while you're muted, I'll just say real quick, the Under Armour gamer, appreciate the 10. That second interception, it looked like Atwell was held. Am I wrong? And does it matter? Yes, it matters. Yes, I think he was held. They weren't going to call it. They didn't call one. I think it was Parkinson who was held way downfield. Didn't call it. Yeah, I'm not really surprised. Brad Allen's referee crew sucks. So you can't, unfortunately, be in close games when you have these inept officiating crews in charge. Mind you, they took 10 seconds off the clock because they sucked and messed up a call. Like, that's what actually happened. So, yeah, they're terrible, but I've gotten used to it. I mean, it's frustrating, but I'm trying not to complain about the officials anymore because it is what it is. Unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs wearing red, white, and yellow or whatever, you're not getting those calls. That's just the way it is. Nathan, thank you so much for the 5. Who, if anyone, should we trade for? I feel like we could use the tight end. Middle linebackers, other obvious choice. Just not sure who they could go after. Yeah, as of right now, Nathan, got to wait for the season to play itself out a little bit more because we don't know who's available, truthfully. We know Devontae Adams, and that's it. We have ideas. Deontay Johnson might be, maybe Adam Thielen when he comes off the injury, Amari Cooper, but we don't know for sure. So, yeah, it's kind of up in the air, but we'll see. Coach Ray definitely knows his football, so he's still muted though. So I don't know if he's there or not. All right, we'll go to somebody else, give him some time. What's up, SoCal?
See what
How's it going, man?
Hello? Hey, what up, Jake?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Well, at least on the positive side, go Dodgers. So that's all I got to cling to right now. But I'm just kind of confused about the direction this team is heading to because, going into this offseason, we were led to believe that the window is, 2 and 3 years to win another Super Bowl with Stafford and McVay, right?
Yeah.
So which leads me, I've always thought, okay, so then why get an inexperienced DC? Because I wasn't a big fan of the pickup when they hired Schuler. I still am not. So that's that. And then, the whole Cup situation, he's going to be 32. He's been getting injured, unfortunately, lately. So I'm kind of looking at it kind of like how you are in a positive way. Hey, why not just maybe, because isn't the aspiration Super Bowl? Now we're just hopefully we get into the playoffs. But what's the point of getting the playoffs? Just to say we got in the playoffs? I'm kind of looking at it I know you guys are saying the season's not done, but why not look to the future and try to build? We still got good players now. Maybe, I don't know, look at it in that direction. Is it that bad to look in that direction? Or you get what I'm saying? I just don't think this team is championship caliber, to be honest.
I just don't think we know that because they've been, they haven't been fully healthy at any point. So I feel like they're going to give it a shot after the bye. And yeah, I think right now you're 1-4. You come out of the bye, you look good, get healthier. You get, Puka back in that huge game against Seattle. And, okay, if they look good and they're winning games, then they keep everything the way it is. And maybe they're even, entertaining some trade deadline moves. But the real thing here is if they lose coming out of the bye to the Raiders, that'd be 1-5. If they drop against Seattle, they drop, the next 5 games, let's say they lose 3 of the next 5. Well, that would put you at what? They're 1-4 right now, so 3 of the next 5. So they would lose. They'd be 3-7. Now, the Jaguars came back from that, and they went to the playoffs and won a playoff game a few years back. But that's not ideal, and I think at that point, 3-7 would feel like a death sentence. And then I think you start talking about, do you sit Stafford? What do you do for the future? I think the thing that the Rams are going to do is if this season goes the same way as last year and they have to fight back and they make the playoffs and they fall short and they just lose in the wild card or whatever, I think they'll keep things the same, but maybe be a little bit more aggressive at trying new things. But I think if they are not a good team this year and they find out for whatever reason we're just not a good football team, then I think the offseason will be very interesting. I think
I just,
a lot of those, like that contract with Darius Williams is technically only a 1-year deal if they want it to be. There's hardly any money guaranteed after this year. So I think they knew what they were doing when they signed all those guys to 3-year contracts. They can get out of those different contracts that they want to. So we're going to find out, but I wouldn't be slamming the eject button right now. I would not do that.
I just think McVay gets in his head too much. Like today we finally saw Corum play, and it looked like really exciting to see 2 different backs on the field. It brought something different to the field. But I'm kind of looking forward to getting Higbee back because, hey, even though Parkinson is 6'8", he doesn't play like he's 6'8". He plays kind of soft. Like I feel like he trucked people over with his size, but I think maybe that's just me. But I feel Davis Allen's way better in reception than Parkinson. Or what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what Davis Allen is. I like Davis Allen a lot. That was one of my guys in the draft, but I don't know what Davis Allen is. They don't know. I have to say, though, it probably isn't good for his future because this is the same organization that drafted Bryson Hopkins and proceeded to never use him. And the one time his number was called in the Super Bowl, he stepped up in a big way and big reason why they won that game. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know because you got Hunter Long playing over him. So, we'll see. But, yeah, I don't really have too much on that.
Well, let's see how the season pans out. But
yeah, I like Parkinson. Like, I want to make that clear. I do like him, but I'm seeing why people don't. I get it. He's been a little frustrating at points.
Yeah. Well, all right, Jake. Well, thanks for your time. And like I said, let's hopefully they can turn this ship around.
Absolutely, man. You take care.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
All right, later. Okay. Now... Jack, what's up?
How's it going?
It's going all right. My throat is a little bit better now, so.
Mine wasn't feeling great a couple days ago, but I'm on the mend, so.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And it would also be going a lot better if the Dodgers weren't losing, but it is what it is with these starting pitchers at this rate. Rams. It's a miracle. Blake Corum took meaningful snaps.
I know.
I hope that was a preview of what was to come because I thought that in the first touchdown drive where McVay was starting to mix up the 2 running backs, you get that 1-2 punch going with him and Kyren Williams. I never thought the Rams were going to score on that drive. And that's kind of a miracle, to be honest, because I'm as I'm sure just about everyone else is, I've been kind of sick of watching this team constantly get to the red zone and then kick field goals or fail a 4th down conversion. Like you said earlier, I'm kind of in the same boat of just focus on getting healthier at the bye, make some adjustments with linebackers because it's a capable team. We know that. We know in just about every game they've played, they have been right there and like a play or 2 away from actually putting it away. So, sorry, I'm watching a base hit. Yeah,
Focus, Jack.
I'm trying to stay focused. I'm sorry, these LA sports don't slow down. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Nobody has a crystal ball. That's kind of the lesson that I learned. I thought that they were going to do some serious damage this year, and everybody got hurt preseason. But you can't you can't write this team off just yet. Coming off the bye week, getting Cooper Kupp back, hopefully, getting everybody else back down the stretch. They were 3-6 last season, and they dug out of that hole. So 1-4. I know it can be a little bit harder to see, but 1-4 is doable. So I haven't given up just yet, but it just comes down to the little things. It comes down to the offense being able to finish on some of those drives. It comes down to I'm not going to forgive the defense too for allowing, like, it was like a 1-on-3 play, triple coverage, and you allow that catch. That's just ridiculous. So
yeah, no, that wasn't great. But at the same time, I do think the secondary was a lot better without Trey White. I think they were able to do a lot more creative things, especially sending the house, blitzing. They haven't been able to blitz. They've gotten a ton of pressure, but they haven't been able to blitz. And yeah,
that's kind of like the one thing that's like really. I'm not about to go off on Jared Verse or anything, but that's I can kind of see why people are frustrated at that, because he's doing things right. He's not playing bad at all. It's just frustrating to see, like, when he gets to the guy and then there's still a positive play about it. Like, that's what I think a lot of people are upset by. But he's not the problem. He's far from the problem on this defense.
Yeah.
You got to look at the linebackers. You got to get Omar Speights in there. I think he's going to start playing some more reps.
Hummel and Speights should be starting week 7 without a doubt. So
they got to take a look at that. So it's going to be ironic. I'm making another trip to Las Vegas. I'm going to be there the week of the Raiders game. So
oh, nice.
That'll be weird being in enemy territory. Yeah, I'm going for the NASCAR race again. So that'll be fun.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Well, I will talk to you soon. I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully,
no problem.
The Rams don't lose the bye week.
Hopefully not. And I'm gonna go get distracted by the Dodger game again. So
all right. Later, Jack.
Catch you later.
All right, we got 3 more. Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to say this now. Rusty, I'm bringing you on. Do not curse. Period. I don't care how upset you got. Keep the cursing to a minimum. All right. Oh, I guess I can't bring you on. Oh, wow. I can't bring anybody on. Oh, no. Here we go. All right, Rusty. No cursing. What's up, man?
Nothing much, Jake. Just disappointed in all facets of the game, and just us as Ram fans, it's like the biggest FU, like, to us, because we are excited to see all these guys develop, and then they pull that crap out. Like, seriously, like, it's insulting at some point, because you get all excited, but then they manage to lower your expectations every time. McVay was terrible this time. The offense looked very stagnant. The O-line played atrocious. Stafford played like he was back in Detroit, overthrowing players, hospital balls everywhere. I'm surprised Tutu didn't get sent to the tent, because that was probably one of the dumbest throws I've seen him do. I feel bad for Jordan Whittington risking his life out there, and then for Stafford just to play like complete trash in the last remaining quarter. Defense did their job. D-line was there. Linebackers still continue to be a nightmare. I don't understand why we don't change them. And the offense just all that, Jake. Like, these guys could be better, but no, they just simply can't. And I know injuries are in, like, there can be the excuse injuries, but good teams, all teams have injuries. How the hell are the Miami Dolphins able to beat the Patriots, and their O-line is completely, and they don't have a quarterback? So you're telling me that we're that bad we can win against the Packers when we had all the momentum? Then for us to 2 turnovers to completely screw our momentum over. So you're telling me we can't come back after that? It's it's so infuriating, Jake. And then just for all these guys to play their heart out and just to lose that way, do you know how embarrassing it is for them? It's infuriating. That's the one thing I'm very like upset about. And then 1-4, we know we could be better. We could have won this game and last year's game, but we just didn't. So pretty
Yeah.
much it.
No, I hear you, man. It was good job, not cursing, by the way. Proud of you.
It was hard, but hey, yeah.
It's hard after a loss. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I appreciate that. I thought that was very level headed. I think I definitely sympathize with that. Like here's how I would say it, Rusty. So you have all these expectations going into the season about this team going to the playoffs, maybe winning a Super Bowl, so forth. And you are thinking this team healthy is going to be really good. And then immediately, 3 days before the game, Darius Williams out. Cooper Kupp gets banged up. Puka Nacua, offensive line, safety. And you're like, oh my God. But you know what? Rams fans continue to watch. And so much so, they start buying into a 6th rounder in Jordan Whittington. They start buying into a wide receiver they assumed was going to get traded in the draft in Tutu Atwell. They start getting excited to see Logan Bruss and Bo Limmer get their opportunities. They're excited to see these guys getting opportunities. Jalen McCullough, right? Seeing the rookies that did not play in preseason, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. So the frustrating thing, Rusty, is that I think Rams fans, not that you can change anything, but I think they've been pretty understanding of the situation, the injuries, and they showed out and they showed up and they've been following the team. And there's one win. One win. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
That's infuriating.
Yeah.
McVay is this genius level coach, and you're telling me you can't manage 2 measly wins with this crew, with this young core, and these guys are going to lead us. They're going to be for the future, and you're telling me you can't win with them? Do you know how infuriating it is for them as players? How do you think McCollum feels right now? He got a pick 6, and what happens?
I know.
Kyron fumbles, and what happens?
The Kyron
Stafford
fumble
throws a
is so
triple
annoying.
coverage hospital about a 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what like really pissed me off. Like, these guys are doing everything in their power to actually score, and then McVay and Stafford, they get in their heads too much, and they just produce a nothing burger.
Well, and
That's
it bothers
what like
me.
pissed me off, and like
The defense got a stop 2 weeks in a row, and the offense couldn't score. I mean,
I know I give the defense a lot of crap too, but they made me shut up today.
yeah, it's just it's frustrating. But Rusty, appreciate you calling in, and I don't know if we're doing anything for next week, but if not, then I will talk to you after hopefully the Rams beat the Raiders in Week 7.
Really, Jake, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
All right, see you.
All right. So yeah, it's really frustrating. I think there was one point that I wanted to make. Shocker, I forgot what I was gonna say. That's never happened before. Man. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember. It is what it is. You try to remember everything, and yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, you know, I've said everything I can say. That's why we're going to bring on Coach Ray and Mo Mitch and probably call it. But all right. Coach Ray, are you back? You are muted, by the way. Okay. Let's do Mitch. Mo Mitch, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, Jake? How you
Oh,
doing,
not
man?
much, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. I mean, disappointed in the loss, but not as bad as last week. I know, you went live, but you didn't take any calls. Had to go see your mom, and but last week was way worse, man. Just because I feel like we had that game in the bag
Mm.
more so. It was funny that 2 days after you and Alexis, the title of your video just says "Run the damn ball," and that's exactly how I felt. It was just the classic Sean McVay didn't run the ball enough game, and we always get like one or two of those a year. So, but with this game, man, I mean, I think back to back weeks, we can say the defense did their job. I mean, you and Rusty talked about it. They got a turnover for a touchdown this week. This young defense that, for the most part, has been getting the blame and it's been like the number one target of the fans of why we're losing this year so far.
Yeah.
And I have to say, these last 2 weeks, I mean, people are saying fire Shula and whatnot, but he's been coaching his butt off. He's been doing different things, sending exotic blitzes,
Yes.
showing the house, dropping eight. Like he's trying. And, and their defense, they're playing good. Now, like you just said last call, both back to back weeks they got the stop and a chance for Matthew Stafford to go drive down and win the game. And I mean, last week it should have been a flag, okay, but we know he ain't getting that flag in Chicago. But this week you had 4 downs, 4 down territory, and you couldn't get it done. And then at this point, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I mean, you couldn't get it done. You're hoping your guy can get it done, but I guess that's the difference from having a Puka, even just one of them, having a Puka or a Cup out there. Like if Cup's out there, I believe we win this game. If Puka's out there and we're missing Cup, I believe we win this game. But that's the difference in the NFL, man. Like it's just a couple plays, and, like they got their guy Jalen Reed and a guy developing in Craft, and then our guys on offense, Matthew and Kyron, like love Kyron. We were begging him to run the ball more, and he was getting this game. But you can't fumble on us, man. Like that was a drive killer today. Like we were driving, even a field goal there, to put us up 6, but to fumble there, and then 2 plays later they get a touchdown. Like it just was a gut punch. I was like, damn, we probably looking at 1-4 after those series of events happened. But all that being said, 1-4, like yeah, the only game we weren't in was the Cardinals game, and that was coming off of playing the Lions. And if I saw Chris Long post about it on the short, he said the Lions are like you play them twice because all the teams that the Lions play, you look at their next game after that, they just get blown out. Happened to Arizona, happened to us, it happened to Tampa Bay. Like all the games we played in, we've been in, we've competed. We just need the guys to start making plays, and that's what this bye week's about. Just focus up, correct the details, get healthy. I don't know where Vila is or Joan Jackson, but I've heard we're gonna cut back and just play better football. I mean, you got to go a game at a time at this point. And honestly,
Yeah.
looking at the schedule, it's favorable. Like I'm not scared of the Vikings, and then we could catch them at the right time if they're rolling high off of. I think they play Green Bay next week. If they're rolling high for a win off of Green Bay, but yeah, I'm sorry, no, not Green Bay next week. They played them last week. But I mean, what was it? Raiders, Vikings, Seattle. Like we're
Yeah.
still in the
Then the
second quarter of the
Dolphins and
season.
Patriots. So
Yeah,
they don't look great
that's
right
our
now.
next 6.
Yeah. Next 5.
Yeah, our next 5. Okay. I mean, like it's crazy to say, but it is still early. It was only the first game of the second quarter. You still got 3 games to end the second quarter, and officially at the halfway mark of the season. So I know it looks bad, but this team plays their butts off. The coaches coach well. McVay's had a bad game last week. I don't think he had a bad game this week. I think Matthew he wasn't his best today. And our boy Kyron, that fumble just hurts, but they have the talent to get this done. I'm not abandoning ship or throwing in the towel yet.
No.
I think you said that. You said it earlier, 3-7. Then yeah, but right now, just get rest and get work on your injuries.
Yeah. So last year at this point they were 3-3. So they're still not great. Then they lost 3 straight. So
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry. So week 5 they were 2-3. So they win that game against Arizona and then they lose 3 straight. Pittsburgh brutal, Dallas brutal, Green Bay was even brutal. Then they had a bye after the Green Bay game, and again they won 7 of their last 8. The only loss they had was an OT loss that came down to a punt return. So,
oh yeah, I was there. I was at Baltimore. I was there, and I called you that night. I was like, I believe when what you're saying about this team could make the Super Bowl last year, and we could be in that same situation here, man. Just
they should have.
got.
I truly believe if any other official officiated that game against the Lions, they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's just how I feel.
I feel it too.
I
would have loved to go in there in the San Francisco. That we were not afraid to go there.
No.
Other teams relish that, but I mean, it's about last year. It's about this year, and like you said, it's week 5. The season is far from over. Like, I think we talked about it week 1. The Bengals were a Super Bowl pick for the AFC, and it's not like they're not a 1-4 team, man. Like they just went toe-to-toe overtime with the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? On the road, just they're not.
Football's
they're not,
weird,
it's
man.
Hard. Yeah, man. It sure is.
It's
It sure
weird
is.
because you look at right now, the Rams are tied for the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
I mean,
That's crazy.
that is, but also, like the Bengals, like you said, the 49ers are 2-3, right?
Yep.
Like, so the 49ers have the same record as the Jets, who they mollywopped on Monday Night Football. Philly and Dallas and New Orleans, they're all in that 2-2 window. And you look up at the top and you're like, oh yeah, Kansas City. But the Vikings, best team in the league, who would have thought that? They're currently the best team in the league. Then you have the Commanders, 4-1. Houston's 4-1. They got destroyed by the Vikings. They've won every game except for that one. The Steelers are 3-1, right? The Falcons are 3-2. So Denver being 3-2 is the real shocker. I don't know how that's possible, but
Like
yeah.
the Bears being 3-2, and like I 100% believe we're better than the Bears.
Oh yeah, better than the Bears, better than the Packers. I still think they're better than the Lions. But the good news is they got that division all out of the way. They'll get it out of the way entirely in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know, whatever you want to say, 3 weeks against the Vikings. So then they won't be playing that annoying ass division anymore. But
yeah.
Man, appreciate you calling in, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, and also, man, I like the way the schedule falls, like a health-wise.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? You get a bye this week, you play one game, and then you get a Thursday night game. So you think coming off the bye, you just play one game, you be fresh, against a team that just flew back from London and have to play a game. So that mini bye if you win there. Then a couple more games, and then don't we have another Thursday night game? I think we have 2 Thursday night games.
2 Thursday night games?
Yeah, we were one. Us and Cincy were the only teams to get that. Which I said I'm fine with because I feel like if you win that, that's another little mini bye.
Is that
a couple of days
against the 49ers? Yes. That's a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah. So we got the Vikings and 49ers for Thursday night. So, for our team, the way our year's in, it's a couple more, if we end up winning those games, a couple more days to rest up, heal the injuries, make sure the body's right. Because the way this season is, we need that. Or the way the season has been.
Yeah. I feel that, man. Well, I will talk to you soon, and I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, thanks, Shake, man. Just Drops whenever you drop on the bye week, man. Thanks again, brother.
Absolutely. You take care.
Too, man. Peace.
Thanks. All right. Last chance for Coach Ray. Anything? Have a good one, Deb. I should ignore this, but I'm seeing a comment. Y'all now see why the Rams didn't want to bring back Witherspoon. Bro cannot play his position. So was Witherspoon not out there today? Did the Rams not bring him back? I don't really understand that. They always wanted to bring him back. They didn't want to pay him. They actually were like practically begging him to come back. They just wanted him on the cheap. They didn't want to give him top dollar. They didn't want to give him half of that. That's why. Takes two to tango, as I've said multiple times. A contract is between two parties. One person can't just say, I'd like to have that man signed to a contract. It doesn't work that way. No, I mean, you could say that, but I'm just saying it's entirely ignorant. I actually know what happened with that front. I'm giving you info that has not been reported. They wanted Kello back for pretty much the whole offseason. They were talking. So it's like, I don't understand that. But anyway, yeah, and also, exactly, Chaz. It was one play. I'm not a little sensitive. I'm just telling you. I just think it's funny. Like, like I have knowledge. I have insider knowledge about what happened with that. They weren't just like, yeah, we don't need a Kello, and then signed him. No, they wanted him for a while, and then Akello decided to just sign. But he absolutely SM. He should have gotten Trey White's contract. He played 18 games last year for this team. Started every single game, injured or not. They made a mistake, and they admitted to it. Today, they 100% admitted to that mistake. No doubt about it. Yeah, of course. Also, like, Kello's barely played this year. So, you know, you don't think that's going to get cleaned up? I just think that was a communication error, though. There was a lot of different wires being crossed. You got three guys out there. Someone has to come down with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. In the heat of the moment, it sucks. But anyway. Okay. All right. Savage, how's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing?
Can you hear me? Or...
Can you hear me? Well, I heard you before. There's still a path. You're absolutely right, Paul. 100%. Savage, you there? Exactly, Alex. And if Trey White plays, and this is the thing, this is why you can't look at things on the surface. If you're too surface level about your thinking and your reactions to the football, things don't make sense. And on the surface, people see one play and they're like, the secondary's trash. and they see Trey White didn't play, and they're like, oh, well, maybe Trey White would have done better. No. Trey White not being out there allowed them to do more with their defense. More exotic blitzes. Come on, Mandalorian. You're talking about one of my favorite people in the world, Alex. That's my guy. That's my like right-hand man. All right, Savage. Anything?
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for having me. It's like the first time I'm doing this, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably wrap the show on this call, so take it away, man.
Perfect. I mean, I don't really have anything more to add to the game. I mean, it was just frustrating. I feel like it's a game of momentum, and that Kyron fumble was just a killer, and then everything just started to fall apart. But I mean, it is what it is. And Green Bay's had our number for I don't know how many games now, so it is what it is. I mean, I just have to comment on just the fans just hating on our coach and our quarterback. I feel like it's a bit ridiculous to put this on Stafford or McVay. At the end of the day, they're professionals. They know the job better than us. I mean, you know, we can talk about they should have done this or this play call or whatever, but I mean, they know what they're doing. You know, they're better than me, or you know, they know what they're doing. So I mean, I can't really comment too much. At the end of the day, I mean, he wanted to run a call, like he wanted to play he wanted to do a run play or a passing play. It is what it is. You know, we can't change the past. Things happen. And I feel like, unfortunately, you know, people want a mobile quarterback now, and we looking at the draft or whatnot. But I mean, that's the system was built on Stafford and with the supporting cast we had, and unfortunately, we just had bad luck with injuries and everything, and it's been a huge disadvantage for us right now. So yeah, it's just sad. I do think we can definitely turn it around, though. I feel like we can lean into a positive direction depending on how we win this game. If we win this game, you know, in 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll look on that, and hopefully we could be, you know, competitive. I mean, we can't really complain. We've won a Super Bowl recently. I mean, there's teams that haven't sniffed one. So what can we even say? I mean, I'm still happy about this team. You know, maybe we're going through a rough patch right now, but I mean, we've won a Super Bowl, and I've seen one in my lifetime. So I mean, that's a blessing, you know. So
yeah,
that's what I have to say.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. And yeah, it's tough, and I get it. But again, it's the surface level comment I had when I was waiting for you to kind of get settled with your mic.
Right.
If you look at things on the surface, you're going to come away thinking Stafford isn't a good quarterback, and that doesn't tell the full story. I think there's a lot more that goes into this. I am very high on Tutu Atwell. I am high on Jordan Whittington. I always have been. But the reality is, if you really take everything away, you really look at it, Matthew Stafford is throwing to Demarcus Robinson, who signed a 1-year deal with the Rams, didn't have a ton of interest before he signed with the Rams. He's throwing to Demarcus Robinson. He's throwing to Hunter Long, who was a throw-in for the Jalen Ramsey deal. He's throwing to Colby Parkinson, who has not proven anything and was signed entirely for his potential. He's throwing to 6th-round pick Jordan Whittington, who I'm very high on. But if you just take away like your already your notions about it, right? This is a guy that really was behind and overshadowed by Adonai Mitchell and Jatavion Sanders and Xavier Worthy in college. And then he's throwing to Tutu Atwell, who the beginning of the year, the first 2 games, he's barely playing any snaps. So, like, you know, that's the thing, is that while we might be higher on some of these guys, like, the reality is Matthew Stafford isn't throwing to Devontae Adams. He's not throwing to a Jamar Chase. Like, if I was the Bengals, I would be concerned because they're 1-4 and they're scoring all these points and they keep losing. But it's like they have Jamar Chase, they have T. Higgins, they have Joe Burrow. The Rams right now, they don't have Cooper Kupp, they don't have Puka Nacua, they don't have John Johnson. That matters. They don't have 3 offensive linemen. It matters. So I'm not going to sit here and just constantly, and the tight end, of course, Tyler Higbee's out. I'm not going to sit here and act like, injuries are the only reason, all that, but they are a thing. You can't just sit here and be like, oh yeah, they don't really exist. No, they exist. And I think Stafford is doing the best he can with what he has around him. And I think there were multiple times today where Stafford would get some pressure. And I think he did his best to try to get out of it, but doesn't it feel like the Rams don't want him running? Like, it almost feels like they took him aside and said, don't run. And if the play goes on too long, take the sack or throw it away. Don't try and test down the field.
I've low-key been seeing that, but we can't lose him. We can't really afford to lose him. So at this point, keep him safe. Let's not afford any injury. I think it's better that way, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But yeah, like you said, we can't really he's not throwing to Pro Bowl level receivers, unfortunately. I mean, like you said, we love those guys, but we're missing Puka, Coop, and Higbee a lot. There's a reason why we're not really effective in the red zone. We have no targets. I mean, look at Parkinson; he ain't been able to do nothing. So it's just been a rough spot for. We built this team expecting it to gel perfectly, and it was supposed to, but injuries just mess it up, and we haven't been able to get a real solid rhythm, and we've been trying to go away from the run game, unfortunately. So that doesn't create anything positive. So we got it back up today, but it hasn't been great all season. So
yeah. No, absolutely. I appreciate you calling in, man. It was nice talking to you. Oh, did I lose you?
Well, I'm back, but yeah, I don't know if I cut. But I was just saying that we've been going a while, away from the run game, except for I guess today was a bit better, but with all those people missing in our group, I feel like we haven't been able to gel perfectly, and injury is just gonna mess everything up, and we just haven't been efficient, whether it's in the red zone or whatever, if we're missing all those targets, and Parkinson hasn't been able to pick up that slack, and it is what it is. He's not. I don't think he's better than Higbee personally, but that's my opinion.
Oh yeah, he hasn't done anything compared to what Higbee's done for the team. So. No, I agree with you, but I appreciate you calling in. It was nice talking with you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Of course, man. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least. Ruiz, how's it going?
What up, man?
How's it going, man?
Not too good, bro. That was rough. That felt kind of like the game, the Steeler game all in one. It's just, I was laughing at that point. It's like the other caller said, like they get your hopes up, and then I'm seeing I was seeing the Seattle do the same thing. I'm like, can both of these teams right now come back? And once I saw them miss that field goal, get it blocked and return, I'm like, maybe it's even better. Maybe we're the only ones that come out on top, but it didn't. Unfortunately, I think you hit the nail on the head with the whole Kobe Parkinson. He didn't attack the ball, dude. That's my one thing with receivers. I don't understand why everybody wants to be like. Well, I don't know why he reached out with one hand. You gotta put your body in front of the ball, so you have the defender behind you. Worst case scenario, the defender hits you, and then we have a penalty. But I don't know. He was trying to do that double move. he wasn't expecting the ball that quick. I mean, Stafford got pressure right away, so I see it, man. But the main reason why I got on was because like I had to defend the. I'm pushing that movement for the mobile quarterback situation because it's rough, man. Like especially with our schedule this year, like we've played nothing but aside from golf, but we played nothing but mobile quarterbacks, and I mean we seen it, man. Like we have them, we have quarterbacks contain, and then they extend the play. They make today. Jordan Love, it was I think 3rd and 12 or something like that. Freaking ran for 13 yards, dude. It's like I'm tired of it. Like I like for the Rams being a team that's always ahead of the curve, we're far behind on the quarterback movement, the mobile quarterback movement, man. And I think it's time, dude. I think it's time. I'm not saying we still keep Stafford. What I want that Jalen Milroe behind Stafford for at least like a season or something. And I think with him and McVay, it'll be problems for the league, man. Like with Kyron too, like we never had the pistol. Like we have to have that different. It's just we're too predictable now. We're like, I'm starting to call him Matthew Statue. Like he can't do nothing. Like once the play's not there, it's like it's gonna be a sack. Like I already knew that was gonna happen, and it's rough, dude. And we've been getting burned by the mobile QB, and now it's kind of like you want what you don't have, dude. And that's what I kind of like. We need a. It's even Tom Brady kind of said it. Like this league is now it's been dumbed down, so we don't really need a high IQ, QB like Stafford. I mean I love Stafford. Don't get me wrong, but like I feel like it's time to make that move. To have that mobile threat. Look at the Cardinals. They beat the Niners. That's the one thing the Niners struggle with: mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, I get that. I will push back a little bit. I do think Stafford's done a lot of Houdini stuff back there. Today just wasn't that day. I don't know. He didn't.
That spin? You seen that spin though? He almost got off.
Yeah.
That spin where he almost got off. I was like, ooh, that's nice, but they still got him.
Yeah, he didn't do as much this game, but I'm definitely a big believer, big fan of Stafford. I don't think that they need to replace him. I'm going to say this to wrap up the show here. I firmly believe this. The starting quarterback, the future franchise quarterback for the Rams, is already playing on Sundays for an NFL team. I think they're going to trade. I don't think they're going to draft anybody. I mean, do you want them drafting anybody? Can they draft anybody at quarterback? They know how to draft, but at quarterback, it's been Sean Mannion, Stetson Bennett. I don't really feel confident in that. So I'm telling you right now, I feel really good about when I say this. I don't know if it'll be Joe Burrow. I don't know if it'll be Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, my
God.
God.
I'm telling you, the Rams' successor to Stafford might not be, 2 years from now or next year, whatever, but 3 years from now, it's going to come from a different team. It will. And I think if Kirk Cousins was 30 years old, they would do it. But since he's the same age, they're not going to. So I would look at guys like Justin Fields. I'd look at Joe Burrow. I would look at Dak if Dallas goes really south, but probably not.
Right.
But yeah, I think those type of guys. Now I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence fan, so I don't know how much I would even like that. But McVay with one of these guys is what gets exciting. So I do think that's in play. And I see it doesn't just end with those guys either. I mean, Justin Herbert, the way he's playing right now.
I was just about to mention him. I was about to say, what about the other dude that's in LA already? But yeah, I don't really think he's that. I think he just gets a little overhyped because he went, he had a good game against Mahomes. But what has he won? He hasn't won nothing, so. I mean, that's the only reason why I push back on Herbert.
Yeah, well, I'm concerned about, he just hasn't really looked good since those injuries started piling up. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Dak will be a Ram or any of these guys, but I definitely think it's going to be one guy who is playing on Sundays right now. I don't think it's going to be a draft pick. I really don't.
Have they paid Tua yet?
Well, I think Tua will be out of the league in 3 years. So
Yeah.
I'd be out on Tua. Let's real quick. If you go through the AFC, you got the AFC East. Rodgers, no, he'll be way old, and no. Josh Allen is not leaving
Josh
Buffalo.
Allen, dude. Oh my God.
But if he did,
imagine,
good
bro.
Lord. Yeah. Yeah,
with that arm,
he's not leaving.
Tutu Atwell, like.
Oh yeah, he's not leaving Buffalo though.
God,
but
bro.
then you have,
yeah,
Tua. I think he'll be out of the league. And then the last one there. What's the last team? Oh, the Patriots. So maybe at some point, if he doesn't work out, maybe it's Drake May. Who knows? Then you go to the North. Burrow, I think it's a possibility. Right now, the Bengals aren't trending anywhere good. The Steelers, you look at Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is in play. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, not going anywhere. Very much in the same vein as Josh Allen. And then the Browns, I don't think anybody wants Deshaun Watson, including the Browns. So not them. Then you have the South. You got the Colts, Anthony Richardson. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
He could be in play. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence could absolutely be in play. Who else? Titans? No one wants Will Levis. I mean, Will Levis could be. Will Levis could be backing up like Garoppolo, but yeah, I don't think they'll be going after Will Levis. And then the last team in that is the Texans. CJ Stroud. No, CJ Stroud is in that same tier as Allen and Lamar that I feel very confident in saying they are not going anywhere. So then you look at the last division in the AFC. And that would be the West. So Mahomes in that same tier, not going anywhere. The Raiders, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, I don't see it. None of them would move the needle. Then you have Denver.
And I don't want Adams.
Yeah, and I don't want Adams either. Bo Nix, I don't see it. And then I wouldn't want it.
Herbert.
And then Herbert. So I think Herbert's in play. And then the NFC, which should be kind of weird, but hey, Goff and Stafford, we saw an NFC trade. The NFC.
I'm gonna just something really quick on that. Let the Lions fans talk their, smack, because we already know, we've been there. We know what Goff is. Goff he's leaning on a great O-line. He's got great running backs. That's why he has. It's kind of like Purdy last year, but now Purdy took the next level. Like.
Yeah,
even before I would say he was I would call him pretty average, but nah, he's more than that. He's good. Hopefully they pay him 60, and they start losing some other key players. But yeah, Purdy's a problem. The way he played against us week 3, I was like, damn, that's crazy. But see, he's mobile and he extended a lot of plays, and honestly, he made that field goal attempt. It's just he missed it. So yeah.
No,
so just let the Lions talk their smack. We already know they're not gonna make it to the Super Bowl, and if they do, they're gonna lose anyway. So
yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. Goff, no. Jordan Love, well, who knows? Will the Packers screw it up? Probably not. But I think Jordan Love is still in that same vein of all the tier quarterbacks that aren't going to get traded. And then who else we got? Caleb Williams. Who knows?
Caleb Williams. I don't like him.
I think Caleb Williams.
Too early. It's too early, but
yeah, in 3 years, Caleb Williams will probably still be their franchise quarterback or hopeful franchise quarterback. I think Darnold is absolutely in play because if he's doing what he's doing right now with Kevin O'Connell and they drafted JJ McCarthy, who knows? If Stafford was gone after the year, I think the Rams would be calling for J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold. I do.
Question.
Yeah.
In regards to that with Darnold, because I know some Niner fans, and I was telling them, like, dude, I do not want you guys to figure out the whole Sam Darnold thing. Do you think if Sam Darnold came in somehow Purdy got hurt and they went in the Super Bowl. You think they win with Darnold that year?
No. I don't think people want to admit it. I think it's hard to admit because you've seen Kyle Shanahan and he's been this great offensive mind. He has no idea what he's doing with other quarterbacks.
Right.
He didn't do anything with what's his face? Beathard. He did nothing with Nick Mullins. He doesn't turn, water into wine. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. That's why he's doing well. So
I mean, that game was that he came in for him was in the Christmas game against the Ravens. Like, he came in and he scored like 2 touchdowns like right away, and it almost kind of became a game. So that was like, and Purdy was just like, he threw 4 interceptions that game. I think he was like, that was his worst game ever. And I was like, man, I really hope they don't figure out that Sam Darnold is a beast. He played for 2 of the worst franchises ever, the Jets and the Panthers. Like, why is this a surprise to anybody?
It is funny, though, how 49er fans take credit. Like, oh, yeah, we fixed him. No. The Rams fixed Baker. No. That happened.
Yeah.
You didn't fix Sam Darnold by him sitting behind Brock Purdy. It didn't work that way.
Right. Didn't fix nothing.
So then talking about that, moving over to the East, Jaden Daniels, same vein. Franchise quarterback won't be available. Daniel Jones will be available probably. Will he be worth it? Probably not.
Nah.
Jalen Hurts, who knows? I don't feel confident that Jalen Hurts is going to be the Eagles franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future. I don't.
That team is a mess right now, dude.
Yeah, Dak, I'm kind of on the fence. And then the last 2 divisions, we're not going to see an intra-division trade of quarterbacks, but if Brock Purdy became available, say in free agency and the Rams, for whatever reason Stafford retired, I mean, it'd be possible. But then, I think you look at, I see people in the comment section talk about Baker Mayfield. And
oh, no, he ain't going nowhere right now.
That's the thing. I don't think he's leaving Tampa. Dude. So,
bro, Mike Evans loves that guy.
So in 3 years, maybe he becomes available, but I don't know. And then Kirk Cousins is old, so it would be Penix, and I don't want Penix, and obviously they wouldn't trade him.
No.
And then who else you got?
Derek Carr.
You got Bryce Young, and you got Derek Carr.
Bryce Young.
I don't think that they would
right
go
now
after
how it
Derek
stands.
Carr.
Like, everybody said right now we have currently the 4th pick in the draft, right?
Yeah.
So
Zach
if
Wilson.
the season ended today, right, Zach Wilson. If the season ended today and we were picking 4th, and would you go for quarterback or you go another position?
I'm not sure. I'd have to see how the season played out. Like if Stafford played well, but it was clear that like just around him they were just ravaged by injuries. I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as, oh yeah, they picked 4th, so just assume they need a quarterback. And the quarterback has to be worth it too. Like I'm not just picking a quarterback to pick a quarterback. I don't know how I feel about this quarterback class. And that doesn't mean that I think it's bad. I just don't have an opinion right now. I don't like college football, so I'm going to wait and watch those guys with no biases after the season, and that's going to be that. But
would you do like an kind of an RG3 trade scenario and pile up on picks and go from there?
I think it's enticing. I'd consider it. Maybe that bridges to how you acquire a Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow or what have you.
Oh man, dude, if you get Joe Burrow somehow.
Yeah, I'm not saying they'll get him, but you never know.
Right.
You never know. But that is gonna do it. Appreciate you, Ruiz.
For sure, man. So we gotta link up, figure that out, that whole situation.
Yeah, man. I'm saving up money now for like travel and all that. So I will definitely get with you. But regardless of how the season goes, I do expect to be going regardless, even if they're just not a good football team.
Right. Let the people know we won't be in section 400.
Section 400, y'all. Ruiz and I hitting up SoFi. Me for the first time.
Sir.
You for how many times have you been in SoFi?
No, I've since. I mean, I've been there since day one, but I can't go to every game, especially now. I freaking moved like 2 hours away, so.
Oh, bro.
You know, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, we'll definitely we'll link up, and then we'll go from there, man. I'm not giving up on the season, but it's a little frustrating, man. Like, you know, we're not saying we're smarter than McVay, but like sometimes he overthinks it, dude. Like he should have kicked the field goal. And if you're gonna go for it on 4 downs, why not run it on third down?
Yeah, it's frustrating.
You know, it's just stuff like that, dude. It's stuff like that. I mean, but you know, like you said, you did. Believe it or not, you do God's work, man. You got us off the ledge because I was like, man, this season's over. Screw this. But no, we're only 2 games behind the Seahawks, and they still gotta play each other. So we're gonna get healthy. I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but I looked at Jesse's video when he was talking with his buddies about Arizona, and he was talking about the Rams when I clicked his video, and he was saying the difference between us and the Rams just lost, but they're gonna get healthy going into the bye.
Yeah,
like they're gonna get players back. We have no injuries right now like that. We're getting worse, you know. So we just gotta hang in there. Who knows? It's not a walk card. It's division or bust, to be honest.
No, it's very well put. But appreciate you, man. We'll definitely link up. You're on Discord, so we'll probably just talk through there. So, and I'll just give you my number. But anyway,
yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so appreciate you, man. And I'm gonna wrap up the show now. And
all right, man, guys, have a good one.
You too, man. Take care, Ruiz. All right, folks. So we did a call-in after a loss. For those out there that weren't sure if I was going to do a call-in and I was going to back out after a loss, this has now been almost a 2-hour live stream. Guys, I'm not going anywhere. I hope you're aware of that. This isn't, yay, everything's great. But this also isn't one of those things where I'm just going to disappear when they start playing. This is my job. I cover this team, whether they win or they lose. I do it different. It's unorthodox coverage. But, you know, it is what it is. Rams, let's go. I almost missed your super chat. My bad on that one. Everything else in the NFC West was set up for us. Niners loss, Seahawks loss. At least both Niners losses are divisional. Seahawks will be dealt divisional losses soon. There's still some hope. Bingo. That is how you end the show. Remember this. It sucks. I hate losing. I hate being emotionally invested. But the reality is, this thing is far from over. They've already proven that they can do this because they did it last year. And now, this year, they have the health. They're going to be getting guys back after the bye. They're going to be getting healthier. These guys are learning to play together. They're new. You're getting contributions out of everybody. Atwell, you're getting contributions out of Jalen McCullough, UDFA safety, was not drafted. And he played more today, I believe, than the 3rd round safety that they drafted. You're getting contributions from different players. And furthermore, I understand the Cardinals game was different, but you're talking about 3 of the 4 losses came down to 1 possession. 3 of the 4 losses came down to the final drive. So, yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right, Alex. I'm just going to be playing Sparking Zero the whole week, so we're all good. It's all smiles over here. But, you know, guys, we're going to keep it real on this channel, and I'll have plenty of content for you throughout the week as well. This one sucks. I'm not, trust me, don't get it twisted. I'm not excited about it, but And I'm not saying they're 100% going to bounce back from this, but they can and they should. Now it's up to see if they will. So hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Be sure to like if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I will see you guys soon. Take care, folks. Later.